Hi, I'm Stephanie, and this is Texas Peach Knits. Today is December the 1st, but I am not doing Vlogmas, so I hope you're enjoying all the other Vlogmases that are out. Today I would like to recap my November because I didn't have any podcast episodes during the month of November. It was a very busy month for us, full of a lot of really good things, but I just didn't have time to podcast. So I hope you had a fabulous November. I hope you enjoyed Thanksgiving with your family if you're in the United States, and if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, I hope you have been enjoying the changing of the leaves and the seasons. Here in Texas, we are still dropping leaves. Our leaves change colors for several months. It's not one big, beautiful color change all at once. It's kind of slow and mostly brown. So I enjoy seeing a real autumn and leaf changes in other parts of the United States. Today I have several finished objects to show you. My November ended up being fairly productive for me. Part of that was because we drove to Iowa, so that was 12 hours of knitting on the way there and on the way back, as well as lots of knitting time as we drove around the Des Moines area where my sister lives, seeing all the things. So I have some finished objects for you. I also have a couple of WIPs. I have a sewing project to share with you. I am making an advent calendar for our family, and I have some acquisitions and a couple of books that I decided to share with you because I thought they were sweet. You'd like to know some good books to read as well. Now, looking forward, I am going to be having a more Christmassy, Adventy episode later this month, so you can look forward to that, but I won't be participating in Vlogmas because I just don't have time right now and I enjoy watching them. So I will be knitting along and watching other Vlogmases. Now, the first thing I would like to show you finished is my Yuletide throw by Attic 24. I finished this before Thanksgiving, and I still have a few ends to weave in, but it has already been in use, so I can't like pull it off of someone to sew in the ends. But I ended up putting about another foot or so onto what you saw last time. This is a crochet afghan. I am making it out of I have made it out of tons of random skein. So I basically took the color list from the Attic 24 website and I dug through the deep stash and found skeins that I thought could supplement for the colors that Attic 24 suggested. Now, when I got close to the end, I would run out. So here's how much I did since the last episode. I would run out of a color. So you can see here, I started with this bright green and it ends with the kind of medium green. And that's because this skein completely ran out at this point and I just subbed one of the colors that I had more of. So no big deal. I did not do the border exactly like Attic 24 suggested. I just did several rows of single crochet. I did a row of double crochets and then I did just several rows of single crochet. And I did not make it as large or as many rows as suggested by Attic 24, but it's already humongous. I think that pattern is for DK weight yarn, and I was using worsted and chunky, so mine was bigger anyways. So I'll stand up and show you how this turned out, and we love it. Like I said, someone is under it at all times in our living room, it seems like. So it is already well loved. So here is the whole blanket, or as much as will fit in the screen, and it is a giant square. It is wider than my wingspan, so it's probably more than 6 feet wide, and it's a square. So as you can see, I mean, it's very large, and so multiple people can sit under this. It's all machine washable acrylic, and I just love how it turned out. I'm planning on this being in our living room from probably October through February every year, or even March, so the cold months, and everyone can enjoy it. Here you can see the ends that I have not woven in yet. I did the ones at the very top, and then I did all the ones from the middle. At some point I stopped weaving them in as I went. So I have just about this much to weave in, so not too many. I just have to grab it at some point and do it. So this was so fun to crochet. I want to crochet another blanket. The nice thing about this is you just go around and around and around, and you don't have to really think about it. My other crochet scrappy blanket is a Battenberg blanket, which you're constantly starting new squares, which is fine, but I think I prefer this type of method where you just go. But I'm gonna work on the Battenberg blanket next because I want it to put on this couch back here in our schoolroom. So if you notice my angle is different today, it's because we are having an amazingly sunny day. Yesterday it was super overcast, and I didn't want to film because I thought there would be no sun coming through this window that's right in front of me. But today there's so much sun coming through the window that I had to rotate. So super sunny. But you can find me, I didn't say this at the beginning, but you can find me on Instagram as Texas Peach Knits. And if you ever need anything, you can email me at texaspeachknits@gmail.com. I am active on Instagram more than I should be, so if you want regular updates, you can go there. So here is my Yuletide throw, which highly recommend this pattern. Super, super great for lots of odd skeins. So you can, the only color this doesn't have in it is blue. I guess it even has kind of a purpley color. So all the odd skeins. My next finished object that I'd like to share with you is my 12-year-old daughter's Opal Pretty Socks. And this is from Anna Knitter. It is the Sparkle line. So it's opal yarn with sparkle. And she chose this color because she loves teal and orange. Those are her two favorite colors that she wears all the time. And I knit these with a about 5 to 6 inch 2x2 rib cuff and a slip stitch heel. I love how the colors worked out on this. And then just a stockinette plain vanilla foot. And I think this toe is most similar to the German toe that Anna Knitter does because I followed her toe pattern in her sock patterns, and now I just kind of do it on autopilot, and I might not do it perfectly every time, but that's okay. So here's the second one, and this is how I think they look the cutest, is with the cuff folded down, and I was able to get these to match. So super happy with how these turned out, and I do knit her socks 64 stitches on US 1.5 needles, and she wears like a lady's 8.5 right now, so, and I don't think her feet are going to grow much more, but you never really know. And my other finished object is my autumn socks. This is the Weasley Homestead pattern, which is a free pattern, and I don't remember who it's by, but I will have all the information below the video if you want to look up the pattern. So it's a free pattern. It is a broken 2x2 rib where you just switch back and forth. And this yarn, this looks really crimply because it was from my fall sock blank. So this was a gift to me last year from a viewer, Michelle in Houston, and I've loved knitting this, Michelle. This is how much of the sock blank I have left, and I was able to knit. This was the first sock that I knit, and then I finished this one after we got back from Iowa, but I was zoom knitting this in Iowa because I wanted to be done with them so I could cast on my Christmas socks. Now I love on this second sock, this spot right here. It made me so happy when I got to it because it's red and green, and I was knitting that after Thanksgiving on the drive home, and I was like, oh, my sock is becoming a Christmas sock. So, but then it turns back to orange. But these are gorgeous. I don't know if I would go out of my way to purchase sock blanks, and this sock blank is by WIP Yarns. I'll have all the information, but it had different colored leaves stamped on it, and these little like speckle things. It changed as you went. So depending on what kind of leaf, what color of leaf was on it, that would change the extra colors. So it was really fun to see the sock change and all of that, but I'm not sure I would go out of my way to like hunt down sock blanks. But if I ever see one again out in the wild or at a yarn show, I might be tempted to buy another one because it was really fun to knit. So those are my two Weasley Homestead socks, and just like my daughter's 64 stitches, I do 2x2 rib cuff, which is what the pattern called for, and this one has a Eye of Partridge heel, which I don't know if I do it wrong or if I slip my stitches wrong, because I don't feel like mine ever looks as pretty as other people's. 64 stitches on 1.5 US needles. That's what I do. So that is my other finished sock, which I'm so glad those are done because today, being December 1st, I started my Christmas socks, which I will show you in a moment. First, in an attempt not to start my Christmas socks, I had all the socks off my needles, and I didn't realize how much I love to just have a simple sock on my needle. I almost cast on the socks I have that I'm going to make for my husband for his birthday, but his birthday is not until February, so I didn't want to cast those on yet. So instead, I knit a hat, and this is a toddler size hat. This is for one of my friends who has had a baby and is not a baby anymore. This is a free pattern I found on Ravelry. It is called the PNW Bricks Hat by Susan Plack, and it comes in all sizes, and it is a checkerboard style hat with a 1x1 rib, and it actually has very cute decreases on the top, a little bit different than I've done before. And I picked this because I had this leftover. I love this yarn. I think it's a Prince from my son's sweater. And the pattern on Ravelry showed a variegated hat. And I thought it was really cute. So I made this one, and then I have one more skein or partial skein of a similar color to this that I'm going to make another one. Now this top of this hat is not very rounded. It's kind of like a mushroom. I don't know. So I'm not sure that's my favorite, but I did enjoy the decreases because there were purl two-togethers instead of knit two-togethers, which I thought was pretty interesting. And you end up with this little circle at the top, which would be a cute place to put a pom-pom. So maybe I'll put a pom-pom on it. So that's my other finished object that I made in 2 days when I was trying not to start my Christmas socks. Okay, the only other WIP I have worked on is my daughter's sweater, the Wise Owl Knits Cable Boxy. So there's the cable. And as you can see from this picture of Cheryl, it is quite wide. And my daughter, this is for my 14-year-old. She loves a turtleneck. And I don't know how you can wear a turtleneck in Texas, but she can. So she wanted a turtleneck. So this is what I have so far. Sorry, dropping needles. This is the turtleneck. And it will fold over like this. And then the cable is knit in a strip. Now, if you have only ever knit basic cables, I guess I would say, this is a great intro to more complicated cables. It is just stunning. I love these like knots. The nice thing about this, and why I say it's great for someone new to cables, is you're knitting in a strip. So you're not going around and around a sweater. You're not having to deal with any kind of increases or decreases or extra, like sometimes cable sweaters have like multiple types of cables or like lace panels and things mixed in there. This is like just the cable. So you're knitting back and forth, so it's very obvious which side is the cabling side. So you're not going to mix up where your cables go. When you're going around your rest row, you're looking at the front still, and you might think you're supposed to do a cross, but you're not. If you've done cables before in the round, that might make sense to you, but you're less likely to lose your place because it's very obvious that you're working on the back because you're going back and forth, or you're working on the front, and the cable crosses are always on the front. So highly recommend this pattern if you want to dive into more advanced cables, because it gives you a chance to do them on a smaller scale, and there's less to rip back if you make a mistake. So yes, loving this. So you're supposed to knit the cable. I'm making the smallest size for her. She's 5'8". She might be taller than that now, but last time I measured her, she was 5'8", but she's very narrow. So I'm making the smallest size, but I might adjust it to make it longer for her. And I'm supposed to knit this cable for 12 inches, but I'm thinking I'm going to do it only 10 because I don't want it to go out as far. So the extra fabric won't be as far out from her, if that makes sense. And then it will just be, I'll do the length longer, and then the sleeves that you knit on at the end longer. That will make sense as I get further into it. But so this is just Cascade 220, and I purchased it in a mixed box at a thrift store, and it also came with this. It was already caked up, now it's all a mess. I need my yarn yoga pants. This is the color I'm going to use for the body of the sweater. And then I have a Knit Picks Wool of the Andes in a tealy blue color that I will probably do the cuffs and the bottom ribbing out of. So it's going to be a very colorful sweater, but because of her personality, it will be perfect for her. So she will love it, and no one will steal it from her. And I'm planning to finish this before the end of the year. It's not a Christmas present. I generally do not make handmade Christmas presents anymore, mainly because I like to just make things and give them to people as I make them. So I rotate through who I'm making things for. After I finish this sweater for her, I'm going to start a sweater for my 9-year-old son, and I just keep rotating the people, and I can't keep anything a secret in this house. So there's no like knitting that nobody sees. So it's just better this way. So not a Christmas present, but I do hope to finish it before the end of the year because I want to start the year with as many fresh projects as possible. Since starting recording, the sun has moved, so now I have glare in my glasses, so I apologize for that. I really can't see well without them because I have a big astigmatism. But here is the yarn I'm using for my Christmas socks. This is the Vincent van Gogh Opal. And this one is number 5437. It's got 2 numbers on there. So I picked this up in the early summer from Anna Knitter because I love the Van Gogh yarn line. And when I saw this one, I just thought that's going to be my Christmas socks because it looks like a snowy winter day. In the picture, I mean, I don't know if there's actual snow on here or if it's just like really bright sunlight. It's kind of hard to see. I'll have to look at the actual painting, but it reminds me of what like a street in the snow with the Christmas lights up and you know that like light blue winter sky. So I really wanted this to be my Christmas socks this year. And what I am doing is I am doing accents in this West Yorkshire Spinners chocolate lime, which it always throws me off that it's called chocolate. And I'm also going to use this red mini from Porch Fiber Co. that I won in one of her giveaways. And the mini will likely be the heels and toes and maybe a little bit of the color work. And the chocolate mint or chocolate lime, I don't like that name. It's not chocolate. I get it though. I get it. But the lime, the green one, is going to be color work on the leg. Now, what that color work is going to be, I don't know yet. I have to think about that and think about it soon because I'm almost ready to do it. And I'll probably throw in a few little blips of this without using it all up. But I just think these look so great together. And this is what I have so far. So I started this morning, and I love knitting Christmas socks. They're so fun. I did the little blip of the chocolate lime. This is what the crazy sock lady does. And I didn't watch her tutorial for it. I just guessed what she does. So I did 4 2x2 rib rows, and then when I switched to my Van Gogh colorway, I just did 1 row of all knit so that you don't get the weird purl bumps. And normally I don't mind the purl bumps, but I decided I would just do it this time. I did 4 rows of this, and then I'm going to do 20 rows of 2x2 rib in the Van Gogh colorway, and then I'm going to switch to a stockinette sock, just stockinette, and I'm going to put in some color work probably in the top part of the leg. So it won't be color work throughout the sock, just at the top part. So you can stay tuned to see what I come up with. So that is my Christmas sock. So let me know in the comments if you also like to knit Christmas socks and how you like to do them. Do you like to make up your own Christmas socks with just like whatever yarns say Christmas to you? Or do you like to purchase a special skein of Christmas yarn? Last year I got the West Yorkshire Spinners Hollyberry, which was beautiful. Or a skein from a dyer like the Freckled Whimsy, or somebody that does striping. All of those, I just love them all. So I would do all of them if money was no object. So what kind of Christmas socks do you knit? If you knit Christmas socks, please let me know. The other thing I was going to share a little bit about was my planning. I'm not going to go through what I have planned for next year, but I did start making a list of things I have left on my needles and which of those things I think I will be able to finish before the end of the year. So like I said, I'm trying to clear off as many things as I can without getting overwhelmed about it, because it really doesn't matter. But I like kind of seeing what I have so I know what to focus on. And then I also am starting to compile my list of things that I want to knit next year so that I don't get sidetracked too much. I always leave room for inspiration, but I like to have an idea of what I am already going to be knitting. The other thing I tried to do this year was keep track of my yarn in and my yarn out. Now, I wasn't necessarily trying to do a knit only from stash, and I wasn't necessarily trying to not buy yarn, but I do like to know that I'm using more that I'm buying. And then I had a few, I stopped tracking what I brought in because I had found a few, good deals on things, or like yarn from a thrift store, and then I didn't pay attention to how much there was before I added it to my stash. And also my girls have started buying yarn or using my yarn, and so it's hard to like move it around, I guess, as like this is gone now because they took it. So that was a little complicated, but try again. I would really like to try to do this again next year. I love Shauna Sitch's State of the Stash videos, and in an ideal world, I would be able to do a State of the Stash video at least like once a quarter, because I think those are really fun. I like spreadsheets and numbers, but who knows? Next year, I think I'm going to try again. I did do a pretty good job of weighing my projects as I finished them to show how much yarn I had used, and I enjoyed seeing that number add up over the year, which I think is encouraging to show, yes, I am using this. I'm not just bringing yarn into the house. So I find it encouraging to keep track of those types of things. So interested to hear what kinds of things you do, if you keep track of what yarn comes in and out. Like I said, it's not in an attempt to restrict myself because my budget restricts me naturally. I think next year I'm going to try to do it again and maybe set up a file in my computer instead of just doing it in my notebook, but we'll see. We'll see where I go with that. Now, the sewing project that I talked about at the beginning of the video is an advent calendar for my family, and it is very customized for how we do Advent. So I'm going to show it to you now. This might crinkle a little bit because it's got a plastic bag on it, but I purchased on Amazon a felt pack, and this is from a company called Flick Flack, and they sell a wool blend felt. So it is polyester, but it does have some wool content. I would compare it to like being the Wool Ease or the Barocco Vintage of felt, where it's, you know, it's still polyester, but it has some wool in it. And I used a similar pack to this a few years ago when I made felt Jessie tree ornaments. I really enjoyed that project, and so I went back on Amazon and found a bigger kit. So I think these are 12 by 12 squares, and they just come in a wide variety of colors where you get one sheet per color, and there are 42. Yeah, 42 12 by 12 colored squares. I've talked about this before. We are Catholic, and so we do the Catholic Advent wreath with the 3 purple candles and the rose candle. And it starts 4 Sundays before Christmas. So it does not necessarily start on December the 1st. So like most commercial Advent calendars start today, but our Advent this year does not start until Sunday, which is December the 3rd. Sometimes our Advent starts on November 29th or 30th. And so the commercially sold Advent calendars don't really match with what we do with our Catholic liturgical calendar. So I've always wanted to make a Catholic Advent calendar. And the tricky part is every year there's a different number of days, because the 25th of December is always Christmas, but there's a different number of days from the 4 Sundays prior to Christmas. So like this year, Christmas is on a Monday, and so there's 22 days of Advent. And if Christmas was on a Thursday, there would be, you know, 25, 26 days of Advent. And so it moves. So you can't just count 1 to 25. So, but this year is only 22 days. So I thought, what a year to start with the smallest number of days. And so I'm not numbering these. What I'm doing, let me explain. I'm making stockings that can be stuffed with treats. So each day we can like take the treat out of the stocking. So here's my first Sunday of Advent, and the meaning of the first Sunday of Advent candle is hope. And so this would be the first stocking every year. Then I'm making just kind of like generic stockings. So for the first, second, and fourth week of Advent, they will have purple backgrounds, different varieties of purple. So see how this is darker? Because those are the weeks we light the purple candles. So this is just a bell that I made, and I just cut out the felt in whatever pattern I felt like, and then just did some basic embroidery to put it on. And I'm going to cut backs for all of these and then just stitch them with my sewing machine. And then it will just be a little stocking, and we'll hang them in our kitchen where we say our Advent prayers with the Advent wreath. So I have it could be any day stocking. This one, my son helped sew it. It's so cute. Little snowdrift. And I did this. It looks like a child did it because I'm not great at embroidery. I just think it's fun. I like the folkiness of it. And then December the 6th is always St. Nicholas Day. And so that day can move in the Advent calendar too. So I made a St. Nicholas, and I found a picture online of someone's like St. Nicholas doll that I copied for he was a bishop. So that will be our St. Nicholas Day. Here's another generic one. I love these little candies. This is for the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. And that commemorates the day that Mary appeared to St. Bernadette in Lourdes and told her that Mary was the Immaculate Conception. So we celebrate this day. It's always December 8th, and it is what we call Holy Day of Obligation, which there's only a few of those in the church year, and it means that even if it's not a Sunday, we are obligated to go to Mass. So this is one of the days that we go to Mass, and usually our church has a 12 o'clock during the day, and luckily since we homeschool we can go. And then they also have evening masses, but those are harder for the kids, and early morning. And I made a little town of Bethlehem one with the star. And then here is the second Sunday of Advent, which is the faith candle. So I already cut out stockings for the next kind of special days. So this is going to be the fourth Sunday of Advent, the lightest purple. This will be St. Lucy Day, and that is, I think it's always December 13th or 14th, I can't remember. But St. Lucy Day is a holiday celebrated in Scandinavia, and St. Lucy was one of the Christians who would go through the catacombs to bring food to the Christians in early Christianity that were hiding down in the catacombs. And the legend says that she wore candles on her head, like a wreath with candles, so that she could carry more bread with her when she was sneaking down there. And so you will see the St. Lucy. I know American Girl doll had a St. Lucy costume with the candles and the white dress, and then she has a red sash around her waist because that's a sign of a martyr. So St. Lucy was martyred for being a Christian in the early days of Christianity. So, but it became a very popular holiday in Scandinavia because it's during part of the darkest time of the year, and St. Lucy is the saint of light. She's bringing light down into the darkness of the catacombs. And so they really embraced her because it's her feast is during that very dark time of the winter. And a lot of the traditions will have a daughter in the family dress up as St. Lucy and bring sweet rolls to the family members early in the morning to wake them. So it's a beautiful little tradition, and my family always likes to make some kind of cinnamon rolls or something for that day. And then the third Sunday of Advent is the rose color. This is Gaudete Sunday, which is also for joy. And so the week that we have the pink candle, I'm going to make the plain stockings, or the ones with just like Christmassy things on them, on pinkish backgrounds. And then the last special one I'm going to make is this blue one, and it's going to be for Our Lady of Guadalupe, which December 9th, maybe? I don't remember. I don't know all of them off the top of my head. Wait, I have it written down. 12th. So St. Lucy is December 13th. Our Lady of Guadalupe is December 12th. And Our Lady of Guadalupe is very special to our family because it is when Mary appeared in Mexico to St. Juan Diego, and it spawned the conversion of many, many of the native peoples in Mexico. So it is a very special holiday for us. So I'll have a Our Lady of Guadalupe for that one. So these have just been really fun to put together, and I'm not planning to have them all done by Sunday. I'm going to have the first week done for sure, and then I'm just going to add to it as we go. And then next year, depending on how many days extra I need to make, I will either make a bunch more or whatever I need, and then I can move them every year. So some years we'll have more days in that fourth week of Advent. This year, Christmas is the first Monday of that fourth week. The feast days move depending, like sometimes the Feast of the Immaculate Conception would be in the second week of Advent. And so I'm not going to put numbers on them, so I can just hang them up in order and it will work every year for us. And then I bought little stickers and candy treats and things that I'm going to put in these for my kids to get each evening after we say our prayers. So I hope you enjoyed seeing those, and that was not too complicated of an explanation of our Advent season and how we do our Advent calendar. So now I'm going to move on to my acquisitions. So I've been visiting several, we always go to thrift stores. I love checking out and seeing if they have any knitting supplies, yarn, or books. And over the past couple of months, I've found quite a lot of these like thicker pamphlets. They're like the little books from Leisure Arts and other companies. So I picked up a few of these and I thought I would show you. I usually get them for about $1, I would say, is the average of what I pay. This one I think is gorgeous. And it's called Gorgeous Doilies. And I've been really itching to crochet a doily. I don't know where I would put it yet. But I just love them. I think they're so beautiful. So anyways, that's on my wish list, crochet a doily. And really you can't beat, like if you're, some of these I might never knit the patterns out of, so I probably need to pass them along. But even if there's only one pattern that you're interested in making, $1 is a steal. Because to buy a pattern online, now it's $6, $7, $8, sometimes more. Okay, so this one is so cute. Look at this. crochet pot holders. Aren't those adorable? And I love this one that looks like a mosaic. The chicken. I don't have a lot of cotton, like kitchen cotton, because I don't like knit dishcloths. But I do like pot holders, so I might make some of those. This one is American School of Needlework reversible scrap afghans. And I was looking at this one in particular. I might use this for my sock yarn, Scrappy. I like the way this stitch looks. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm sitting on that fingering weight sock, Afghan, Scrappy, whatever. I don't know what I'm going to do. This one is from Make It Martingale, which looks like a newer one, and it's knits for kids. But I was looking through this, and I had gotten another book at a thrift store, and I feel like it has some of the exact same patterns in it. So like this cupcake hat, I really think this is in another book I just picked up from the thrift store. So I don't know. I don't think I'll make the cupcake hat anyways. And this one, I think I got for $1/4. Hats for the family. And this last one, my mom dropped off because she's been cleaning out her craft room and bringing me the things that she hasn't used in 50 years so that I can put them in my craft room and not use them for 50 years. So nice of her. But this one, I think we just need to take a moment of silence and thank the amigurumi creators. Thank you, crochet amigurumi makers. You have totally changed crochet toy making, and we need to appreciate you for it, because prior to you, the crochet toys were somewhat frightening. And I'm going to share some with you. Look at these. Oh my. Oh my. Okay, so first of all, this doll, they used white yarn for her skin. I mean, I am crazy pale, but I am not this color white. She looks like a ghost, the poor thing. And then I just had to laugh about the googly eyes, because this is prior to safety eyes, and safety eyes are pretty cute, or even just embroidered eyes, but like the googly eyes look crazy. Oh, Susan Verkest. Now, she was probably ahead of her time. She probably was like the new stuff. But look at these little guys. I mean, crochet toy design has come such a long way. Okay, and here's the another shockingly white doll. The lion. This poor bear. I mean, he looks like he needs to go to a groomer. And then there's this octopus with the braided. Oh. Okay, so my mother gave this to me. I don't know. It's like it's hard to not keep it, but look at this. This little guy's name is Joe. I feel like this would frighten one of today's children. So anyways, we just really need to appreciate our modern day amigurumi crocheters. We appreciate you. We see you. We appreciate you. I don't know. Thanks, Mom. Okay, is that controversial that I feel that way about old crochet toys patterns? I don't know. Okay, so I've got 3 more things to show you and then I'm wrapping it up. Thank you if you're still here listening to me. Okay, so the first thing I want to show you is this beautiful basket. I got this at a Goodwill in Des Moines, Iowa for $2.99, I think. And I mean, this is definitely a nice basket. It's very heavy. It does not look like a Walmart basket, you know, whatever that looks like. I feel like this must have been handmade. So, but I love this so much. I'm going to use it to put some of my yarns in my living room where I want to display some things. And it has this nice long handle. So you could put a good sized project in there and carry it around. So I like that. And then I wanted to share a couple of cute books with you. This book I got at a thrift store in Des Moines as well. This is Rabbit's Search for a Little House. And this is one of those weekly reader children's book club books. And I used to be a member of this club when I was little. So let's see. The text copyright is 1977. Just can't really read that. So this one was from before my time. I just turned 41. So I was born in 1982. But the reason I really wanted to show you this is the little rabbit has the sweetest little sweater on. Look at that little sweater. And my favorite books as a child were the books that personified animals, and I still love them. I loved to see animals like doing little house chores and like dreaming about playing house. And I just love, in here they have little acorn cups. And I had a book about a squirrel called Miss Susie, which is one of the best books in the universe, where she talks about her acorn cups in that book. And I just think it's so precious. There's just something very childlike and beautiful about thinking about little animals' homes and all of that. I love it. So here's another little sweet picture, and you can see the back of the sweater more. Love this. It was so sweet. Okay, so I saw this at a thrift store and I couldn't leave it because I love them. I like children's books of that era. I think they're just precious. And then the other book I actually paid full price for from the publisher, which I almost never do, and that's why I have to share it. So this book is a reprint. It's called We Were Tired of Living in a House. And a company called Purple House Press has been reprinting children's and youth books that were beloved and that are now out of print, hard to find. And they have been reprinting them, and they're out of Kentucky. Look at these pictures. And I just adore this book. So this book was originally written in 1969. And basically the story is that the children and the parents are having a bad day. Look at those parents. Yes, they are having a bad day. And the children too. They're also having a bad day. So they decide that they are going to not live in a house anymore. And they pack up all of their things and they move to a tree first. So here's their tree house, which if you were a child, wouldn't you like to just sit and dream about that picture? There's so much to look at. And then they try, I won't spoil the whole book for you, they try a few more places and eventually they end up at a cave. And they say they liked their cave. And look at this. Look how precious. Like this would have been me as a child. I did this all the time, pretending I lived somewhere and setting up house. But the cave does not work out for them, you guys, because there are bears. Look at these bears. The artwork is just stunning. I love it. So eventually they end up back home and everybody is having a much, much better day since they got a little break from each other, which sometimes we need. So anyways, we were tired of living in a house. So this was illustrated, I can't read backwards, by Doris Byrne. And I'm really tempted to look up more of her books because the illustrations are just beautiful. So Purple House Press, if you need really beautiful children's books for gifting, they print very high quality books and they are reprints of old classics. So it's not like classics like ones that you would think of, like, I mean, like maybe King Arthur, like Heidi or Little Women, because those are still in print. These reprint the books that were beloved at their time, but that went out of print. So they're bringing back books that basically got kind of lost. And so some of them you'll recognize and think, oh, I had that as a child. But what you don't realize is they're no longer being printed today. So you can only find used copies, which is fine. The majority of my library, I would say 99% of the books I own are used. Used books are fabulous. But sometimes you can't find a book in the used market because they're so beloved that people hang on to them. So anyways, Purple House Press, highly recommend. And I think in my next episode, my more Christmassy episode, I am going to share my favorite Christmas books. So I hope you will come and see those because I have some that I absolutely treasure and want to read every year. So I hope you all have a fabulous December and enjoy all the Vlogmases. Thank you for watching and happy knitting.